And hello. Welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Masters Friday. Happy All Fridays. I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP, and we are the Rightside. We hope you are doing well. Also, that light is off, and I'm not sure what's wrong with it. But how are y'all?
You don't even need that light.
I need the light.
That's the one that's funky.
That's
from when
weird.
we went to the State House, and I feel like it's going to explode.
It's got
something stuck in it.
What do you think is
it might be
there?
Mold that started growing.
Should we
from
shake
the State
it out?
House.
That's what it is.
It's mold. It's white mold.
That's a thing. It's on my hamburger buns at home right now. I found out yesterday. It's probably good for you.
Okay.
Probably.
Strengthens your immune system.
Funnest word for today. Anywho, everyone, what is good on this Friday? That's from the UK.
I don't even know where you're going with
Quilling.
this, Abs. Is that when? Okay, we'll go there.
I think we need to go back to drinking on election day like they did back in the time of the Romans, and also back in the time in England, and even George Washington won by 4 votes because he got the electors drunk and they voted. So we should go back to that.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I have said we need to tailgate on election day. Like,
yes,
we tailgate for Auburn. Less so recently. We tailgate. Like, why not the greatest day in the No, I can't say the history of the world. The history of America. Like, when we get to celebrate. That's me saying over and over. So why not do a tailgate every time? It's like a reason to just hang out with all your neighbors at the polling station.
Why not? That's what they used to do. They would, well, only property owners could vote and Romans, but they got themselves drunk off their butts, and they've done it since the beginning of time. And maybe election day would be better.
It's called quilling.
Well, according to the University of Exeter, the word describing alcohol-fueled electioneering added to the dictionary describes boozy voting of the past. And the word for it is quilling. It has been added. It is a new word. And it's been added to the Oxford English Dictionary. I thought that was a very fun word.
We need to do the tailgating, but have the rival tailgates for each candidate like across from each other.
Let me express to you that when you do run for office, that does happen automatically. And it's like a standoff at the OK Corral between you and your runoff opponent. And whereas once before you were friends and you still are friends, that day you are not, because you're on the field of competition.
Is this our modern day dueling?
This is modern day dueling.
Okay, let me put my glasses back on. This paragraph, this sentence. Quilling led to violence and locals being accused of debauchery, and this trading is now banned under electoral law. I say we bring it back. No better place than the South.
Bring it back.
Maybe just like one mimosa.
Just one.
I'm not sure about like all out.
What happens if you handed them out on the way in? You're 10 feet from the polling. Is it 10 or 50 feet? I can't remember.
The 50.
And you just kind of,
it's not 10.
Cheerio. You know, they come to your tent. They're like, hey, I'm going in to cast a vote for you. Here's a mimosa. Here's a gin and tonic. Have a little sippy sip. Just go on in. And then come out and drink with us when you're done.
You know, at bars where you have to blow into like the meter to make sure you're safe to drive. It's almost like you have to be drunk.
Wait, I'm sorry.
To vote.
I'm sorry. What did you just say? I don't know anything about that.
Is.
You know, like what's the breath?
Is this only in Tuscaloosa?
No. But what are the cops use to
breathalyzer?
Yeah, breathalyzer. Do you know how some bars have like a breathalyzer by the door, and
I've never seen that.
Well, I've never seen it. I've heard of it, but like if you are above the line, you're not allowed to leave and drive. But we need to have one of those in front of the before you go vote. It's like you have to be drunk before you vote. You gotta blow like a 0.8 before you're allowed to go vote.
Way. I'm usually the one that tests the boundaries and will pull us to the dark side. Y'all are really leaping over me.
Well, you know, maybe the reason is we would feel so much. No, it would be so much better if we knew on election day we tried, we had fun, and it's a pushback against black pilling and there's no hope. There is hope. We're going to drink on election day, says a, like if they had little teeny tiny drinking cups, that'd be my best size. But you look at the end of session every time, and while we're thankful for things that get done, we're kind of disappointed over the things that didn't. But we could at least look back with fondness and say, yeah, but that election day was fun. We partied. We had fun.
And it'll happen again.
And it'll happen again and again.
Months.
And we'll just have a sip, move along.
It could be like a chili cook-off. Like every campaign has a tent, and they all come up with their own drink.
Yes.
And you don't have to give out full drinks because that would be expensive.
Yeah,
and
just
probably
little tiny.
It might be, this whole thing might be illegal.
Yeah.
I don't think the
It's a good-
campaigns could do it.
It's a good question, actually.
Audience, let us know. Is this illegal? I mean, but there's a reason why they did this in Rome. Okay.
Well, yeah, they were.
You know, there was a reason. They were totally wild. But then there's a reason why they did it in England. There's a reason why George Washington and future electors did the same thing to get. I don't know when this practice was outlawed, but I'm just suggesting on a day like today when they gavelled out of session. And we are very thankful. Again, let me repeat, for things that got done, but for the things that didn't.
Can I read this?
Maybe it would make it better if we had a little tiny sip. And this is, I'm just putting it out there into the ether. See what you guys think.
Imagine this happening at the Alabama State House. A hogshead of cider was commonly set up for electors outside St. Lawrence's Church in Exeter. Sub Alabama State House. A blue flag was hoisted on the church to tell people about the party.
No. See?
But that's the way it is. Like in Ireland, you go over there, you go to church, you go to the pub. For here in America, that's a little bit scandalous. You know, you only drink in Bryant Denny, and that's if you sneak it in your boot.
Yep. The fireball shot.
Yes. And but you don't really talk about it.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm here for it because we got to make something fun because this is getting.
Thank you.
I realized last night as I was reading, which by the way, I missed y'all yesterday.
We
I
missed
really
you.
did.
Missed you.
We
We saw
y'all
your
started,
comment.
but you didn't say hey back.
We did eventually.
Oh,
You
eventually.
commented in right when we were like, we're at war. This is what's happening. And I
see-
saw it pop up and I was like, okay, we can't get to it now, but we will.
I couldn't hear because I had foils in my hair and I couldn't wear headphones. So y'all came up
I
on my
waved at
feed.
you. I waved at you. I
Oh,
said,
missed
hey.
it.
Yeah, we brought
Yeah.
back and we
No,
said,
we literally did.
yeah, we had a whole, hey, Allison.
I must have been in the bowl getting my hair rinsed. But y'all started something new with the trending Jim
Oh, the
Nance.
Twix. Yes.
Yes. So
Yes. You
that-
ready?
yeah, but hold on. I had a thought.
What?
I said I missed y'all. It was going. Well, now it's gone.
Oh, it's my fault. I'm sorry.
But
Jim Nance, look around Twix.
What is Jim Nance? Let's just go on. It's Friday.
All
Whatever.
right, listen,
What does
write
he
it
sound
down.
like?
Write it down.
Okay.
And then we're going to go back to it. But yesterday
like
we
it was
decided, because it's Masters Week, that we should deliver the Twix. That's what's trending on Twitter. And we're borrowing the word Twix from our friend Scott Beeson, but we're doing it. When we start in the morning after our good morning and hello, our greetings and salutations, we want to move into taking a look at Twix, because what's trending on X is really basically what the morning is like already, because that's where people go to get the news. It just is, because it's so fast and it can be put out there in a matter of seconds. And so we decided, in honor of Masters Week, we should deliver the Twix news. And I'm going to go right here, Sinclair.
Well, real quick, we got to show Allison what Jim Nance.
Oh, yeah, we got to show her what it sounds like.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the final round of this tradition unlike any other. And hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends.
Jim
Hello,
Nance.
friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends.
friends.
Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Welcome to this tradition unlike any other. Hello, my friends.
Okay, unfortunately, we can't do the music because we played the Masters theme, and then there's this thing called copyright, and we had to
Well, that's
share
fine.
our monetization on Facebook with whoever made the theme song. But
It's
Yeah.
like the Mr. Rogers of sports.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so My hello, friends.
Mhm.
This morning on Twix, there are a couple of things that are trending. And one of them is about a movie that none of us probably care about. But the next, and I don't know about you, and I don't know about you, friends, but it's Lady Gaga.
Well, how do you know what's
Because this is what's trending and it lists the top, and then you go right here, and then it shows you all the things that are trending this morning.
yeah, but those are all kind of lame.
Well, they are lame, but Lady Gaga's not lame.
If you went to the news tab,
Hold on. Where's the news tab?
right there.
All right. Thank you. All right. Here we go.
Oh, so is it that?
Yeah. So it's all these, and we go back and forth on what's going on in the world.
Oh, yeah, I missed so much.
can
Okay, I'll
So-
let y'all show me how to.
You're perfect right
friends.
now. Just like that.
Friends.
Friend. That's your golf voice. Yeah, exactly. You get clapping and hello, friends. We're going to take a look at Twix. That is Twitter and X combined. And we're going to look at the news. And first up on the news from Miss Sinclair
I don't know what to do.
is just pick any of these. And you can just tell us about. Click on it and tell us about it. It's fine. We're a fast moving show. We're
So-
flexible.
Let's click on Megyn Kelly.
Okay. All right. Because your hair
She's-
is prettier than her hair, but you're both beautiful
I
blondes.
think y'all's trending is different than mine.
Well, I can't wait to hear what your trending is. Hello, friends.
Megyn Kelly?
Yes.
Well, wait. Oh no. Okay, I can't talk about what I want to talk about then. Okay. Do I have to read it? Megyn Kelly is doubling down. Double bogey. Not on defending Erica Kirk against Candace Owens' daily attack, but on blaming the people calling her out for it. Her latest deflection, the backlash against her, is just the pro-Israel lobby finding a new topic to get me on. She called her critics bullies, not Candace, who accuses Erica of murdering. What? I don't even know what I'm reading. Hold on. What is happening?
Well, it's all this stuff that
For real, what's happening? What's wrong with Megyn Kelly? She's blaming Erica.
Megan, Tucker, Candace, and Joe Rogan were all called low IQ, stupid podcasters by Trump last night.
Oh, it was Alex Jones.
And excuse me, Alex Jones. I'm sorry. And now Megyn Kelly is coming out and she's doubling down based on what Mr. President said yesterday. And she's just kind of spewing things now.
So is this in our montage? Is this kind of in our montage?
Yes, it is. Not this specifically, but we've got an Alex Jones clip talking about Trump in our montage to talk about it.
But what is y'all? I'm about to put myself to sleep. What? And maybe that's the point. Golf is great to
Hello,
sleep
friends.
to. What is happening with all of those people that we used to love?
the people that claimed that they were the true MAGA?
Yeah. How are we supposed to feel about this?
I think that is a very fair question. And I think that they, to me, off the cuff, are appearing to be a little bit, not all of them, a little bit griftery, because the rest of us are just kind of the same as we have been. But they were all in and now they're all out. And I don't understand it, but it just seems like it's getting into grifting territory. I don't know. What do you think, JP?
I think each one is different. Candace Owens and the
Oh, Clutus is coming out. Keep him straight. You're in Augusta, dude. You can't be Clutus. You'll get
Yeah,
kicked
that's
out.
right. That's
the
right.
Candace Owens and the Egyptian planes and the conspiracy, the Israel killed Charlie Kirk. That is griftery. But teeing up now, Alex Jones and the others, I think they've been the same they've always been. And maybe, perhaps, Trump himself is changing a little bit. Not with all of them. Candace Owens, she's in grifterland. Tucker Carlson is some good, some bad. I don't agree with all of it. But others, I think Trump Trump may be just to blame, and some of it. I think that's the case.
It's very interesting.
So you're not a panikin,
I like it.
But
Not
you-
a panicking.
you don't think it's all a grift.
Some of it's a grift. I think others, Trump just doesn't like what they're saying.
Okay.
That's true and fair. That's a good point.
Okay.
It's a good point.
Can we click on this? What do you
Stalin?
have? Yeah. What
You
does
wanna click on
Stalin have to do with
All right,
any of
let's
this?
look. Let's look on Stalin.
Stalin? What is on y'all's trending?
What? Stalin proposed what? I don't know why it's going on. I've got on my trending David Axelrod, UFC 327, and Usher.
UFC 327.
What? It says what's happening.
How
under
did y'all
trending.
do this yesterday?
We laughed.
We brought up we brought up my trending on my side, and
It's very different than abs.
yeah.
Yeah.
and
What's
then
your trending?
We clicked through, so I would go like, detective killed serving eviction notice, suspect run over after standoff.
Okay, that's a little better. I do like Usher.
Tulare County deputies approached 59-year-old David Eric Morales in Porterville on Thursday morning after 35 days of unpaid rent. Morales ambushed them with a high-powered rifle, killing veteran detective Hopper before barricading himself and firing at officers and a drone. After failed negotiations, a Kern County armored vehicle intentionally ran over Morales as he continued shooting from hiding spots, with Sheriff Mike Bodrow stating bluntly, "You shoot a cop, we're going to run you over." Governor Newsom ordered flags at half-staff to honor
I'm sorry.
Hopper, the first line of duty death for department since 2007, as a procession escorted his body and agencies offered condolences.
Now that's tragic.
It's a crazy story, though.
It is a crazy story.
This is Jim Nance is a tough way to start a show because I'm literally falling asleep. It's like a lullaby bedtime story. Yes, that's what I need.
You need that. You need that.
Now let's do who could we do? Like Joel Osteen or
Hey,
Jim
guys!
Baker. Welcome
Jim Baker.
to the show where we will save your soul.
In Jesus' name. Hallelujah.
Let's just switch up the energy. Okay.
All right, there we go. All right, let me go back. Okay, here we are. So, randomly things that are on Twitter, but for a Friday, it's kind of an odd day.
Oh, Brandon Gill.
I like him.
I do too. Brandon Gill. Now you're scrolling. I
Hold
can't
on.
read.
We're going to play the video because there's a video.
Oh, God. All these things the boomers don't know.
Communities like Frisco that have been totally transformed, whether it's Islamic immigration or immigration from anywhere else in Asia. I don't want Muslim prayer call. I don't want to hear Muslim calls to prayer in my community. I do not want the caste system socially in the schools that my kids are going to, because we've had so many people come to the United States who are not assimilating into American culture. I want to live in an America that's actually American. And if you go to some of these areas, you feel like you're in a foreign country. And that's a problem. You know, America is for our people. We have a distinct heritage, a distinct culture that's rooted in historical experience in the United States. And that's something that we as conservatives should seek to actually conserve.
I like him. And you know what? That is such an... So now we're having Nashville schools make separate prayer rooms and changing the bell schedule for Muslim prayer, but we can't have the 10 Commandments hanging in the hallways. Like, what the hell, county?
Y'all, okay, I saw this video today and we got to play it. This, hold on, it'll take me a second to find it. It's this lady, I think she's in New York, and she busted into a mosque because the call of prayer was so loud that her kids were bothered, and she went in and like completely in enemy territory and was like, "This is insane. It's got to stop."
Did she make it out?
Let me find the video real quick. But I saw it this morning.
Are there requirements for how loud it has to be? Like, you must reach the community, you know, because you could play it to where it was just inside the church, to where people could just go in and do it.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's definitely they're not abiding by a lot of these ordinances, but
Oh gosh. Oh dear.
How do you open up that door? Excuse me. Just give me time, okay?
Help us understand.
I know, you need to give me time. Okay, no, wait, hold on, no.
Wow. That was gutsy.
Which is what it's going to take. But wow, was she brave. Where was that? That was in Texas?
it said Patterson.
Patterson's
in New Jersey. Yeah, she had a New Jersey. She said, "Let me talk for a second."
Yeah.
Oh, you guys. Good for her. It is going to take that kind of fervor to get rid of what we need to get rid of. Sorry, it just is. Like, we don't have the same kind of chutzpah. Think about when the guys were protesting in, was it Minneapolis, or the ICE protesters formed chains in snow. We don't ever do anything. Like, they're more committed to their agenda, and Islam, political Islam, is just farther afield of that. What do? We're like, oh, y'all should probably go away. This is not compatible with Western civilization. Like, we're going to have to do what that lady did. Aren't we?
Yeah, but I mean, the only thing more offensive is if she had run in with some bacon on her head. Like you got to be prepared. She's probably on a list.
Now she is.
And
Yep.
but what's so sad is, let's say, her complaints. I'm guessing there wasn't any context, but you're saying she was complaining about the noise of the prayers.
Yeah, and I believe the caption said like her kids were being bothered, and
Yeah, like nap time's kind of a big deal. And I'd be really ticked if you're waking my kids up with your call to prayer. So, but what's going to happen is she's not going to get any support by the city council or the county commission or any elected official and backing her up and enforcing those noise ordinances. Because she's not down the hall saying, hey, can y'all quiet it down? She's probably across the neighborhood, and they've got those giant speakers that they put everywhere. Oh, do we have an update on what's happening in Pelham, Alabama? We need to follow up on that.
You know what? Our friend, I'll look in the break. Let's see. I'm just going to pull her name
Things
up.
are going down in Pelham. Pelham is being, I know they've purchased one old church where one of the Shelby County commissioners was like, but they were so nice. They moved the cross. They paid to move the cross wherever they want. The former owners wanted it. They've been really great neighbors and purchasers and whatever. Okay. Yeah, for now. But what do you do? And I'm asking this philosophically. We can be unaligned and opposed, but if you are a county commission or a city council person, how do you legally keep that out? I don't know.
it is a great question. My initial thought would be if the citizens speak up, and kind of like the school in Hoover, and they show up and show, like, if the citizens themselves say we're not cool with this, then I think the citizens and their overall opinion or majority opinion should prevail in that. I mean, you can't legally stop it from happening in the first place, but when the citizens speak up and say, hey, we don't want this, I feel like it's their job, the city council's job, to represent what the citizens want.
Yes, but then you have the threat of lawsuits, because it doesn't matter why you make a decision or not. Do you know what I'm saying?
Is the Hoover one going to a lawsuit? Or are you just
No,
saying, for
because
example?
the Hoover one, they made their decision based on traffic and the use of an office. But this is, they're purchasing a church to be used as a church. I don't know what you do.
Let's press pause and let's come back to this.
Pause.
We'll
be back.
Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair, and we are joined by a dear friend of ours. Her name is Heather Davis, and not only has she become a counselor, not only has she written a Bible study, but she's one of the wisest women I know. And she can tell you about herself. We have so many questions for her. We're not going to get to all of them. But the main point today is, how do we deal with a generation of kids that no matter what we do, we seem to be doing it wrong? How do we have hard conversations? How do we broach uncomfortable subjects and not lose our mind doing it? How do we do that? So, welcome.
Hi, thank y'all for having me.
We're so glad you're here.
I'm a little overwhelmed by the honor and the love. So thank you.
Wow, I'm overwhelmed by the fun. Like, I've heard about Heather for years, and she walked in, and I was like, "Oh, she's one of us.
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome."
Yes.
I think y'all are in for a treat, because I'm pretty sure it will all be said, like, not holding back. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So, first, real quick, what's your background, and did you ever see yourself doing what you're doing today?
No and yes. My background is I graduated from the University of Alabama at Birmingham in '93. Thought that I was going to be the next physical therapist, but apparently statistics are very important in that role. And so I never got an opportunity. Had worked at ASMI with Lee Mack, Andrews, and Rogers, the gods of orthopedics, and realized that the gods of orthopedics bow down to the God of the universe, because he had a plan. He brought me here under the guise of my personal wants and wish list, and he saved me, transformed me, and called me into ministry before I was 25 years old. So it was what I like to call a butt kicking in reality and practical theology. So 25 to almost 40-ish, I was on different church staffs here in Birmingham, always around connection, community, small groups. Had this just innate from the time I was a little girl, ability to hear through the lens of the gospel and love people. And so was counseling before I was ever really into that. Had a horrific marriage, started doing a lot of therapy just to kind of get through what life throws at you. Addictions that, back in the late 1990s, early 2000s, we didn't say the word porn out loud. We didn't say affairs out loud. We didn't say sexual addiction out loud. These type of things were what I was dealing with. And on church staff, that's pretty taboo. So I had been on a staff where they were like, you need to step back and get your house in order. And that really kind of undid me. And the long and short of it is, I did a deconstruction of my theology to find out, well, if it's my husband who's sinning and he's the head of the home, how do I get my house in order? And so it really just kind of took the legalism that I had been brought up with. My parents are very good people, very moral. And then I, became Baptist in Birmingham, Alabama. And so I just traded one for the other. And so he really just started to show me what a practical theology was and how do you live out what you honestly believe. So long and short of it, I ended up doing master's program and getting counseling certifications. And now I'm a gospel coach. So my last accreditation is board certified master mental health coach. And I specialize in life recovery, addictions, and neuroscience. I work through the lens of NARM, which is a neuroaffectual relationship model, which basically means the biological, neurological way that our bodies and brains process. And so it's really kind of cool because that just flows right into theology. Forever, God's been telling us if we renew our mind, we can be transformed. And that's exactly what I get to do with people. So I love it. I know that's pretty heady, but
no, I'm so curious because a lot of people will say psychology, psychiatry is antithetical to the gospel, to theology, to God. But it sounds like you fuse the two. Like God created us, God gave us these mental capacities, He wired us. How do you put science and God together? Because most people want to separate them.
Right. So for me, as a Baptist even, it was very difficult for me to understand the difference between spirit, soul, and my flesh. Okay. And so it took me a long time to get the understanding that, my flesh is the part that has its own proclivities. It has its own predisposition towards typical types of sin. That's my flesh. That's the part of me that makes me human. Then there's the spirit, which is, I was made in the image of God. I'm an image bearer. We're all image bearers, and it's unique in each one of us. That's why we're all so valuable to the kingdom. And then there's this soul.
And hello, welcome back. I'm Amy Beth. She's Allison with glossy blonde hair, and he's JP with the great hat. And I'm just plodding along.
Can we take a poll based on what we were just talking about before? Y'all, it's so funny. It's really like in the movies where there's blah, 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 and then you're like, and welcome back.
Yes.
So true.
Literally.
So I think we need to ask our listeners,
Oh, this piece of hair. Stop.
who would last longer in jail?
Not me.
Me or Amy Beth?
I would, because I'd have to go all.
Oh.
I could
She
go
would
to jail.
use her other half. To her advantage.
I could go to jail.
I don't know. Okay.
I'm not meant for jail.
This is
though.
a fun conversation.
Okay.
Because
Listeners,
Not
audience,
the news montage.
who's
Just
going to
real
last
quick.
longer? It's
This is going to make a
Friday.
great reel. Write it down.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Who would do better in jail?
I think
What is doing better? Define doing
Okay,
better. Does that
so
mean you don't die?
survive.
Or does that mean you like lead the gang?
Well, okay, here's the thing though. With Allison's people skills, she would be the leader of like 4 different gangs. She would like get the other gangs to fight each. She'd go to one gang and be like, I heard they were saying this about that. And she'd go to the other and be like, he said this about you. You're gonna and then like she would be the conniver of the whole. So she would have that aspect, but then Amy Beth would be like the do not mess with Amy Beth. Just let her, she would survive. Nobody would mess with Amy Beth because she'd have that feeling of like,
I
that's
cut you.
ass. Do not, yeah.
Her
She-
bon qui qui would come out.
Yes, and everybody would know you don't just let Amy Beth do her thing, leave her alone. But it would be, it would be fun. It would be funny. I don't know.
Our audience needs to tell us what their thoughts are, because we would do fine, especially if we went to jail together.
Well, we are going to go to,
We're going to camp.
yeah, but what's it called? Not reorientation camp.
What
Hil-
camp?
Hillary Clinton was going to have re-education camp.
Oh, we are going to go to re-education
Re-education,
camp. And
yeah.
we hadn't decided who got the top bunk and who got the bottom. But I have this proclivity since I was a kid that I've never fought anybody. But I would fight for my kids.
Yes,
and I
you
would fight for my girlfriends if we were like girlfriends, not that
Abs.
kind of girlfriend.
Something.
I wasn't
jealous?
thinking that.
I
until you
wasn't
said that.
saying it. Anyway, but
If we were in
do mess
prison
with
together-
me, I wouldn't hesitate.
Would Abs and I be in the same gang, or would we?
No, we're leaders of all the gangs.
Y'all would be the gang.
We would be the gang. We
Okay.
would be the plug. We would be
Okay.
Abs and Al,
Big
Uh,
X.
the big X the plug, but the
Okay.
Sinclair Club.
We would be the ass pack.
We would be the ass pack.
The Sinclair Club.
You like
That's
that?
So funny.
And that's who we would be. And we'd be like, mess with us at your own peril.
Come at me, bruh.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Allison would be the
She'd be sitting on the picnic table directing.
Allison.
And I'd be behind her like, hey, see that girl over there
Mess
in the
with
corner?
us. I dare you.
Hey, go get her. That's what I'd be.
I just like people.
Yeah, Allison would be the conniver of the prison, and Amy Beth would be the. Does she have a shank? Under
She'd
her,
be
like-
the enforcer.
I
Will
would be
she-
the enforcer.
Will she stab you? Do you think?
And the answer is yes, I would.
Yes.
I don't know. This is thank God I'm saved. Okay.
Oh.
Thank God I'm a believer. But if I weren't and I were in prison, I will cook you.
Wouldn't it be scary? What? That's a whole other maybe for Monday. Like, what would we be like if we didn't have Jesus?
Oh,
I mean, this is
girl.
bad enough.
Oh, Kurt.
Then you roll the Bon Qui Qui tape.
Oh my
That is
God.
this one. And I'm probably some
we would always end up together no matter what happened, because you are so similar to so many of my growing up friends. We are meant to be together, and we would go to jail together. But if we were not reformed, and if God hadn't pursued us and put our names in the good book, wow.
How old were you when you became a Christian?
4. I was 4.
Okay. I was saved just in time. 6th grade. If I had gone any longer. But you know what's great, and it's what I tell my kids, you know, they're like, they don't really judge because they've all been through a lot. But, you know, if they start talking about somebody, well, you know, they were at church, but last weekend they were, especially at Sanford, you get into all that.
Oh, bless it.
I'm like, I went to Wednesday Night Live at the Baptist church for the free pizza and the cute boys, and that was it. And Jesus found me there. So let's not judge.
Exactly.
Oh, praise the Lord.
But for the grace of God, go I. But do you know how many dumb things we've done between us? A lot of dumb stuff.
JP hasn't, though.
I know. How old were you when you believed?
I think I actually got saved at Vacation Bible School. I was like 8. I was a kid. But I mean, I grew up in a Christian household and the Granny Rams in my life. So I did not know Jesus.
Yeah,
but
same.
I made the decision when I was a kid. I mean, I've had moments in my life where I veered off the path a little bit and God had to come back. But that's everybody. That's
every
all
day.
Christians. Yeah.
And it the older you get, the more you recognize the beauty of the repent and believe. That's what the Bible says. Repent and believe. And then after you believe, you go, oh, I am such a sinner. Only then does God really show you who you are and what he saved you from and for. But what a blessing that we were all children when that happened. But if I weren't a child and I hadn't been saved, we should talk about this sometime. Dream it up, guys. Dream up the other you.
Yeah.
It's like Prison
with
Mike.
another name.
Prison Mike, Prison Abs.
Prison
the
Abs.
Do-rag, the
Who's
shank
Prison Mike?
from The Office, where he did a skit that one time where he had a bandana because they had.
Can you please play it?
Yeah, I can look it up.
Prison Mike.
You don't
Prison
do it
Al.
now. Yeah, but
It's when they
Mike.
had a worker that was there. He was black, and he had been in prison, and the whole episode was him talking.
that works downstairs?
No, he was upstairs, and he was telling the others about prison, and then they were like, "Wait, prison sounds better than this." And they get outside time, they get all, and then Mike came and had a do-rag, and he was Prison Mike for a day and did a whole thing. Yeah, it's like
I feel like
Prison
I've seen all of the Offices, but I don't know that one. You're going to have to play it for us.
That's funny.
But I guess we should do the montage.
We probably
whatever.
should.
I don't.
we probably should.
It's Friday.
All right, let's do it.
Michael Hughes.
Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized.
This came out of left field for us here covering the White House. The press shop did not give us any insight into what this announcement would be about. Content of what she's calling for, this congressional hearing to allow the victims to, openly testify about what they witnessed is new, and it will certainly breathe new life into this story that has, in large part, not been, at the top of the news cycle lately.
And yesterday, we successfully executed search and arrest warrants at 10 separate locations and arrested 5 suspects so far throughout Southern California. I'm going to break down the details of this operation in a moment, but first, I just want to make one point very clear. This is just the latest example of the California DOJ's longstanding, ongoing, and successful efforts to combat hospice and Medi-Cal fraud.
This was the last day of the 2026 legislative session, and the last day lawmakers will meet in Alabama's existing state house.
And that's why you'll have 5-6 times a day. We won, it's over. No, it's going to go on forever. Total destruction. I'll never let them have the strait. Yes, we're giving up the strait. I'm getting out of NATO. We're staying in NATO. And when you know people in early dementia, that is exactly what they do.
That's brave.
Oh,
that's brave.
I only included that clip because of the discussion we mentioned earlier of,
Hmm.
and it's so crazy for me probably because of, I mean, I was watching Alex Jones when he was like Trump, and he was one of the leading voices that like when Trump was really, Trump was like the far right, and Alex Jones was one of the leading people that were fighting for Trump. And now 10 years later, and Alex Jones is going on his show to be like, I don't support Trump anymore, and actually he may have dementia. It's just one of those, just like, what has happened? But it's a larger discussion from his massive post, going after Megyn Kelly, Tucker, Candace. It's like almost every.
Do you have that post?
Yeah,
because I haven't read the whole. I mean, you don't. It's long. You don't have to read the whole thing, but
I'll read parts of it where he
the all caps at the bottom.
Yeah, but it's just it's a bigger discussion. If is he going after people that just disagree with him, or are the people genuinely like?
It's hard to know because what I can't remember, and I would love to go back and dig into, is what did they agree with him on at the beginning?
Yeah.
What did they want him to do, hope that he would do? Where did they all converge? And where did it break down? Because this is a spectacular spiral.
In the worst way, right?
Yes.
Okay. On everybody's part.
Yes.
Here, I'll read some of this post. I'll read the beginning. He goes, I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that they think it's wonderful for Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon, because they have one thing in common: low IQs. They're stupid people. They know it. Their families know it. And everyone else knows it too. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did. They've all been thrown off television, lost their shows, and aren't even invited on TV because nobody cares about them. They're nut jobs, troublemakers, and will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. Now they think they can get some clicks because they have third-rate podcasts, but nobody's talking about them, and their views are opposite of MAGA.
Insurrection Barbie says she has a post about this because I didn't see this whole big Shazam firework thing coming. You could have expected it, but now it's just.
Yeah, and it's weird because like Marjorie Taylor Greene off the list. Milo Yiannopoulos, who, whatever you think of, I love him. He has his issues, okay. But he has been so pro-Trump, and defended him up until, really the past few months, kind of in the same time frame switch. I a little bit include myself in that. As this has gone on, I'm kind of like so disappointed that we don't Minnesota fraud arrest. That is a slam dunk. That's pretty none. Epstein file stuff, auto pen stuff. It's stuff that we can't seem to get done, but I don't seem to be, they are really gone. Like there's no hope. So either they've been compromised and bought out, or Trump's attacking them has pushed them to where they're like, well, we're already on the outs. There's no coming back. We're just going to double down.
I'll just say this one quick part of Alex Jones and these guys and just the crew in general that have supported Trump before it was cool. I mean, they put their neck on the line. A lot of them got arrested. Alex Jones is bankrupt. I mean, not all specifically for supporting Trump, but like their lives, they have put it all on the line for Trump for years.
Yep.
And now Trump is calling them low IQ and such just because they're like, wait, I thought we were against this and that. And then they're being called disloyal, low IQ. I'd be furious too. For the last 10 years was supporting this guy, and you're taking all of the heat and the eyeballs and prison for a lot of them for him. And then I would feel completely backstabbed and betrayed too. So,
okay. Allison pointed Insurrection Barbie out to me a while ago, and I thought this was interesting just watching all of this break down. She has a couple of quick things to say that are interesting. She said, I don't have a list of all of Trump's accomplishments, and in a minute I'll tell you how many followers she has. And there are many. I'm going to list just one. The one every single one of the podcasters talked about ad nauseum during the last administration, the border. The border, which is now sealed, the one thing that doesn't have 100,000 plus crossings a month. Have you heard them talk about that? Nope. This alone makes his presidency a success. But she had kind of a long take on everything yesterday. Maybe it's at the top here. But it's interesting because you do have to, here's what she said. For some reason, the people who identify as real MAGA changed every single one of their positions. We didn't. Trump didn't. So I don't know what that means because it goes back to a minute ago saying, all right, where did they agree? And then where did everybody diverge from?
Well, let's go through that because
I don't know.
I kind of disagree with her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay. Let's talk about what did Trump campaign on? Closing the border.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has done that. Deporting, mass deportations. None of that's happened.
Not enough.
Yeah. Epstein files.
Yep.
Which his wife's kicked the hornet's net over this morning. So thank God for that.
Yes. What else?
No, ending wars, no foreign Middle East interventions.
Yep.
Like we got right now.
It's not true.
Election integrity.
Yeah, we can't get the SAVE Act passed.
What else were his main? I'm trying to think about that platform.
I mean, the social issues like transgenderism and, just the woke culture in general. A lot of that has been gotten rid of with executive orders. A lot of it hasn't really been codified necessarily, but I think the main diversion, if you're looking like what is the main foundational, the Epstein files is a big one.
Yeah.
Because not only did you campaign on releasing them, but what did that represent? That everything about the MAGA movement, the populist, anti-establishment, just against evil, and the Clintons and all of it was such a foundational piece of MAGA of the deep state is evil and this is what they're doing. And we know it all with the Epstein files. We're going to get in and we're going to expose it all and arrest all these people. And not only did they cover it up, but they actively fought everybody that was, we were for this whole time. And now they're not MAGA. They're Democrats and the whole thing's a Democrat hoax. That was a big one, a big splinter. And then when it comes to Iran, and I think the main frustration is Trump's guys used to be all these people that he's calling out. And now who are they? Mark Levin, Lindsey Graham.
Can't stand him.
The literal rhino establishment. And these guys are MAGA. Hannity, all these people. It's they view it as, and I think a lot of it's true, you've betrayed your base for the establishment that we have been fighting for 10 years. I think that's the main frustration. I think Iran is kind of like the nail in the coffin because of, like I said, we've been against, Trump, I keep using this as an example, but it was the first big soundbite when they were on the stage of the debate. And he goes, they lied about WMDs and the war in Iraq was a big fat mistake. And that was everybody was like, finally somebody's saying it. And now we're in the Middle East again. So I don't know. It's just those two, I think, are the biggest as of late.
The question is, and this will really be infuriating. Now, with Tucker and his whole Islam stuff, he's lost me. You have to be purposefully, willfully ignorant because there's actually thousands of years of history on what happens when Islam takes over. You have to be absolutely willfully blind. Also, you lied about the Bible. You need discipling. Candace, again, she's in her own world. But the others with closing the border, but agree. Iran, Middle East, absolutely no. And the Epstein files. Do you think that once the midterms happen and whatever happens, that he swings back and tries to grab conservatives again? Or is he going to just turn it over to JD and Ron DeSantis to duke it out and Marco Rubio? Like, what's going to happen once the midterms? Is he going to swing back and stop listening to Susie Wiles and doing all the rhino things that he's doing right now?
Well, why would he? I mean, at that point, you can't run for president again. You're on your way out. You're 80 something years old. It's kind of done. If you're gonna swing back and try and save it, now's the time. I do see what you're saying, though. I mean, he has tried to do some things, and he has done some good things. And when we started this war, even though, are we calling it a war now?
It's yeah.
Okay. When we started
we
this
are. I don't know if
casual
they are.
conflict, he had a lot more support than he does now. I think we all saw, like, the people of Iran are living in severe oppression, and that was the goal. And now we're kind of wavering, floundering. We're talking about wiping out civilizations. And some of this is just his messaging on it. Even if that's not actually his intent, his messaging has not been good. And people start to go, it just sounds off. Something sounds weird. But I wonder, again, Trump is a populist. He's actually not a conservative.
That's right.
And so are we diverging naturally? Because at some point, it's kind of like with James Lindsay, who I appreciate his knowledge on a lot of issues. He is an atheist. We are believers. At some point, we can't stick together. It's just not, our worldviews do not mesh. So is that what we're seeing naturally happen? For a while, we were here. I think the economy and all that was such a big part of Trump's platform. We haven't seen as much happen with that. And I think inflation has risen more in the past year. Gas prices, like, we're on some roller coaster. But maybe he is still being exactly who he's been all along, and we just didn't want to see it.
Perhaps. And speaking of James Lindsay, isn't he the one who predicted all this happening?
Yeah, he did.
And so we talked about this yesterday when we had our discussion on truth and how do you know what's true? And talking about people like James Lindsay, we didn't mention his name, but keeping what he says that is good, that we agree with because it is true, but recognizing he's an atheist. And so we can't go all the way there with him, but holding space for that. And so perhaps it's exactly as you have said, Allison, he's not a conservative. He is a populist, and he is being exactly who he's always been. Because he said the things about Iran since the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
He's talked about economics since the 80s. The only thing he changed on, to me, is life issues. And he was pro-abortion and then has slowly become a little less so. But maybe this is it. And we wanted something glossy and shiny, and we got it for a minute, but then the veil has slipped. And so now what?
Yeah.
I think mainly, we got about 30 seconds for the music. I think Trump has just kind of ditched the girl that he brought to the dance, or that, what's the saying? You go with, you're with who brought you to the dance.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a little bit because during the election season, he was with all these people and saying all the right things. And I think once he got into power, people with a lot of money, people with a lot of clout, like the people at Fox that know he's watching every night, and they're rah-rahing him and saying he's the greatest, and they're putting him in this echo chamber and pulling him away from the base, I think, and are telling him all these things. So then the people that question him, he takes it as, oh, well, you're not loyal to me. You're not.
Right.
Whereas, because the people around him are like, Trump, you are just comparing him to Jesus on Palm Sunday.
Oh, come on.
That's what he's constantly hearing.
He called himself the king.
Yes.
Right. It's,
crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is. And I think the right people, the Lindsey Grahams and the others, are getting in his ear and come on. And I think he's being flattered. I think that's a lot of it.
He better be careful before he gets Nebuchadnezzar'd.
Yeah.
Y'all, we got to take a break. We'll be back with Greg Davis of ALCAP and Priority Talk Radio. He's going to give us a rundown of what happened at the State House while we were away. We'll be back.
The part was so elusive for me. It was just kind of like a mirage. Like, how do I grasp it? And the best way I've figured out how to hold on to it is it's a 3-part. It's your mind, your will, and your emotions. And so your mind definitely includes your brain, but it's more than just your brain. You've got your subconscious and your conscious. So the things that I say are biblical truths. The things I believe about myself, that mental tape, that's the subconscious. That's your mind. That's the part that's got to be transformed. Then you've got your will, which is, your disciplines and the things that each of us have or do not have. I kind of lack will when it comes to bread, Diet Coke, French fries, ice cream. I mean, there's a list, but my will is very low on those. And then there's your emotions. Well, your emotional state is definitely important, but I was not taught that way. I was brought up in a military, medical, Italian family. Emotions were not things we talked about. You were sent from the table till you could get it in order and come back, dry your face up. So the emotions, that's part of it. Well, what we've got right now is a generation that's led by their emotions. Then you've got, our generation, Gen X, which is totally led by will.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will do what we're going to do because we know. And so those two generations are really clashing. And then you've got the generation that's the mind, and these are facts, and that would be your baby boomers. And so that's where these generations are really struggling, is the way we see soul is so different that we're having trouble determining how do we even communicate about it, and even more so, how do we love these kids and give them the safety and security that they need, because we're the adults and we've been there. And we know what it was like to be raised by people who didn't value emotion and they didn't value will. They only valued trust or truth and achievement. And so we're in that precipice where they all meet, and it's kind of like the rubber meets the road, and we're dealing with it because these kids are not believing what we believe.
Not at all. And is that why? That's just so interesting, that clash of civilization, really. But is that why you mentioned a minute ago, the kids today seem to be so led by their emotion? It doesn't matter what logic you present. It doesn't matter. I mean, even going so far, and you and I have talked about this, where some people will say, well, what is truth? As if it's this nuanced thing that we can create rather than a concrete, no, truth is. Right. We rotate around the truth.
My truth,
and
your truth.
Yeah. Can you talk to us about that? I mean, why?
We talk about the postmodern world, like that's where we're at postmodern. And so relativism is incredibly real. I just had a conversation with my oldest child, who's 26 and in law school. And she asked me specifically, are you okay with the unkind treatment to people who are not citizens of our country? And I was like, help me understand what unkind is. And she goes, Mama, you've got your therapy hat on. And I was like, well, I need to understand your terms, because that's where we're at. Her version of unkind is an experiential unkind. For me, clear is kind. Unclear is unkind. Kindness means I would extend something to you that you have not earned. It's a gift. Kindness is a gift. And she was like, well, I don't think kindness is that way. It's an attribute. And I was like, okay, that's where we're at. We have to define terms with this generation, because theirs is an experiential, emotional thing. Kindness is a character trait. You can't give what you don't have. And so for her, she really struggles, and she's typical. She's a millennial. She is very typical of, if you're not kind and you don't do it the right way, you're wrong. I'm like, where's the grace in that? But they don't have grace because they don't understand it.
Is this across the board? Like, I don't know if there's a little chat group of all the NARM therapists out there. But I'm curious if it's more pervasive in the South, just the Southern culture. No, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. NARM, the model that I use, is worldwide, and it's kind of ironic, but when we do our Zooms, when you do your trainings, you're on Zooms, there'll be people from all over the world, and they'll say, Heather, and then it'll say he, she, it, whatever your pronouns are, and we'll have people from, one was from China, one was from Scotland, my favorite accent, and she was saying, what is this she, her thing? She was like, and we had to explain, in America, you have to say your pronouns, and the woman was like, what? You are who you are. But in America, it's up for debate. but in other countries, that's not even an issue.
Hmm.
They don't deal with it, and so we're kind of in that place where we're making up things.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome back. You have found the right side. I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair. If we combined our last names, that'd be Sinclair. Or I had another one the other day I was dreaming up for hilarity. And JP. And we're having a Friday. We are going to have our friend Greg Davis on to give us a wrap on what happened during this session. And then, but before we get to that, we're going to talk about the rest of the montage, or as much as we can cram in. Then after Greg, we are going to take a break and then go to do JP on Sports and Clown World because it's Friday and that's what we do on Fridays. So to go through a few of the other items in the montage, were any of y'all surprised by the California hospice fraud and what they've uncovered?
I was. I saw that this morning and I didn't even realize arrests have been made. It's nuts.
I mean, at least they're doing something. I thought in a state like California, led by Gavin Newsom, they wouldn't be willing to do anything.
I mean, Democrat Attorney General, we've come to know or expect them just to kind of ignore any broken laws, any actual, like, without bail. It's just, you're so used to just nothing being enforced. Don't know why they're choosing this one, but okay. Now, he did mention, I can't remember, he said Medi-Cal.
Yeah.
And something else. Maybe it's because it specifically involves the California's tax paying base. And they're really upset when it's the federal funding. They don't care much about that. But when you're actually, isn't that just like the liberals?
Yes,
Like,
it is.
it's okay. It's okay. We're going to push for these things. But then when it comes to my dinner table, we're going to say no. Maybe that's it. But it's impressive. Keep it up. Just don't get mad when we all start doing it too.
Well, real quick, let me read the details for those who aren't aware of the story. California's Attorney General Rob Bonta announced Operation Skip Trace, charging 21 people for buying out-of-state residents' data on the dark web to fake Medi-Cal hospice claims through 14 straw companies and 130 shell entities. The group defrauded taxpayers of $267 million with no real services provided. The state has recovered $30 million so far, and independent journalist Nick Shirley's videos of empty facilities like Healthy Life Adult Daycare, which billed nearly $20 million, helped spotlight the issue amid broader hospice fraud concerns in Los Angeles County.
Can you imagine what it would look like if we just took care of the fraudulent issues that we all know are happening like this and like in Minnesota? How different things would be, how less expensive healthcare might be if there weren't so much fraud. We focus so much on Democrats have one plan and it's socialism. Republicans have a very basic plan of health savings accounts, being able to shop your insurance across state lines, perhaps necessary more transparency in healthcare. But big hospitals never get held accountable. Big pharma never gets held accountable. Big insurance never gets held accountable. And this alone, wiping out fraud in Medicaid and Medicare, could be incredible. That could be the thing that leads to the snowball. But I don't ever stop to think how impactful that kind of fraud is.
Isn't it sad? I just had the thought as you were talking, this is so sad. I'm like, well, maybe now the Republicans will do something since the Democrats are doing it first. But it feels like that's often the case.
Amen, Allison.
It's like, oh, they have to give us permission. Otherwise, we'll be racist. Or whatever you want, a domestic terrorist. It's like we can never lead. I don't know. Minnesota, I don't think they've done anything. Have they?
Not to my knowledge.
So, but has anybody dug into what's happening in Alabama? Because you've got to know it's happening here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, we're the Ruby Red. Allison, come on, listen. We're the
Greg
Ruby
Davis
Red
is about to
state.
tell us that we are very Ruby
We have
red.
no problems. Our voter election integrity, solid.
We are the gold standard.
And we have no fraud at all anywhere. There's no monopolies on anything. We're great.
I think I know. I remember. Did Tommy Tuberville talk about doing a Doge
He
when
did.
he's governor? I haven't heard much about it.
Well,
Or is it not cool to do Doge anymore?
I think, well, I mean, there's been some like API and others have talked about it. I don't know if he's publicly listed out like a plan, but that's been a main platform of his, is getting rid of all the fraud in Alabama.
Instead of the energy czar, we should have been making another seat for a Doge commissioner, Secretary of Doge on the cabinet.
Genius.
I would pay for that one.
Here. I second that idea.
Yeah.
Is there anybody top of mind you'd think would be great for that position?
My husband.
Yeah.
Jared.
Yeah. Somebody that you think back to what was the final number of what happened in Minnesota? Like what they found with the Leering centers, like 9 billion?
9 billion.
Okay, let's go with 9 billion. We just need somebody that can like identify any dad, mom out there that can identify when like you get charged twice for Netflix. That's basically all this would take.
That's all you got to do.
Because this is just big flashing numbers, I'm guessing. 9 billion, you don't do that in $1 increments. So it wouldn't take much. Let's see who could do it.
Let's invent somebody, because even as you're speaking, I'm thinking, remember all the times you've been hacked and you've had to change your credit card because there are people who are just, having fun times on your credit card. Like the time Chris said, hey, did you just spend $3,000 at the Home Depot in Miami, Florida? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. This was after a family trip and it was really ridiculous. But you look at that and you go, they tiptoed into it by doing the little tiny frauds first. So you'd have to go way back to find out when the little itty bitty beginnings of the fraud happened. And then you go, oh, this has been around a long time.
Yeah, it would. JP, what are you giggling at?
Sorry, I just spilled coffee all over me, so I was trying to distract.
God, I thought like, are you okay?
Yeah. I just didn't want to distract from the coffee that I just spilled all
you just
over
were
me.
like laughing at yourself, and then for a minute I thought maybe you were laughing at me, and then I got paranoid.
After y'all start the interview, I'll go and clean myself up.
Coffee's hot too.
That was part of it.
Yeah,
I was like
trying not to.
So you didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, is Greg with us?
He is with us.
Is Greg ready? You think he's ready?
Greg's always ready.
I think he's ready.
He's a professional.
Hey, Greg.
Look at you.
Hey, ladies, how are you?
We need a banner.
We do need a banner.
They're pretty easy to get.
I got a banner place. I got you. I just need to sit down and do
it.
And
you
you've
have
got
the holders.
Andy's got his owl cap. You are covering it all. Greg Davis, tell us about yourself real quickly, what you do. Give us a little pitch of why in the world we should pay attention to you. You're kind of a big deal.
Well, I don't know about that. I know the Lord's a big deal, and that's who I serve. But yeah, ALCAP, I'm fortunate enough to be the president of ALCAP, representing churches from across the state of Alabama to Montgomery, more specifically to the state legislature. So we are there every day that the legislature meets. In fact, this whole quadrennium, thinking about it, I was there every day of the whole 4 years. Didn't miss one day that the legislature met. So we're there on site as a pastoral presence, but also advocating for issues that are important to the churches that support us and to Christians in general. And then I host our radio show that I've been doing since 2011 on in the afternoons from 3 until 5. So that's it. And love you ladies, and y'all have both been on my show before in the past, so it's great to be with you guys.
Thank you for coming on today. What were the biggest things as they gavelled out that you, maybe a top 3 list of what you were happiest with that they accomplished this session?
Well, for the entire session, I can talk a lot about the issues that I worked on, and there's a lot of good issues down there that I believe in, but I don't necessarily work on them.
Mm-hmm.
But for me and for ALCAP, there was an issue with sex education in our schools that we've been working on for several years now, and finally saw that passed earlier this week, and has went to the governor. I heard she's already signed it, which revamps our sex education standards in our public schools. schools don't have to teach sex education, but if they do, we'd rather them not be teaching some federal program that was probably written by Planned Parenthood, and teach a program that's I think more parents would be happier without demonstrations of things, and here's how you get an abortion and all these kind of things. So we're pretty proud of that, taking Alabama from a comprehensive sexual education state to a sexual risk avoidance. Also just yesterday on the final day, the 10 Commandments passed. That's something I've been working on for a couple of years. So Representative Mark Gidley and Senator Keith Kelly saw that across the finish line yesterday. And so that provides for the 10 Commandments in a historical context to be posted in our public schools, 5th grade and up, in history classes, classrooms that teach history, and then also somewhere else in the school, like a library or an auditorium or somewhere like that. So that was pretty exciting yesterday. I'll tell you, there was some tears shed over that one to finally see that one happen. Yesterday, the CHOOSE Act, clarifying that you don't lose your athletic eligibility if you take advantage of the CHOOSE Act. I thought that was pretty great as well. The chaplain bill, we've been working on that for a couple of years to kind of clears the path for public schools to provide for having chaplains in their schools for the teachers. We have fire chaplains, we have police chaplains. Why would it not be okay to provide chaplains for our teachers? If you talk to teachers, they'll tell you they mostly do counseling. That's a great part of their job now. So they're involved in a lot of serious conversations. And so to have that emotional and even spiritual support for our teachers is something that we thought was pretty neat. And also say the religious release time bill was huge for providing that school boards would need to adopt a policy to allow Bible classes, religious classes to be taught during the school day. And so, it has to fit in, it has to be right, but schools and districts can find a way to make that happen for their students. And some of these things dealing with schools, these are good ways to encourage parents that they can keep their kids in public schools. If you just shut out religion and, any kind of spiritual support, that's why people are leaving the public schools and they're going more to private schools. So I think some of these things in sex education, I think some of these issues will encourage or make some parents feel better about, hey, I can leave my kids in public schools when they see them going in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Real quickly, I want to run through each of those bills you just spoke about because I just have a few questions. The sex ed bill, that goes back to the local level. They have like a few programs they can choose from. It doesn't pigeonhole them, but the bad ones are out, or the comprehensive ones, which are
comprehensive sex ed is not available any longer. And it took us to what's called now a sexual risk avoidance model. And there's people already teaching that in the state of Alabama, all around the state. And so, but it's being done with private funds. Excuse me.
That will go back to the local school board decision to choose.
Oh, yeah, sure. And they don't have to teach sex ed in the schools. They don't have to, but for the ones who do, they have to meet that criteria. Whatever program they teach has to meet that criteria.
For the 10 Commandments, is it a shall or may display?
Oh, it shall. Yeah.
It shall, which means they have to. This is excellent.
Yes. And no expense to the schools or to the state. We're going to raise the funds to provide those framed up, nice. They're posters, and it's outlined how big they are. And we're going to raise the money at the right time to get those provided for every school, every classroom in the state of Alabama.
That's great.
Athletic eligibility, there's no, if they transfer, they still have to sit out a year, or they don't. They don't. Okay.
No, you do not lose your eligibility for taking advantage of the CHOOSE Act. If it's related, now you may lose it for some other reason, but not because of the CHOOSE Act. And that was something Governor Ivey made a big emphasis, because, the CHOOSE Act passed last year, and then you had, the big issue with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. And so this really clarified what was already in the CHOOSE Act, but it really clarified it.
Finally, two more. The chaplain bill, how are the chaplains chosen?
Yeah, well, they have to be certified, and there are groups who certify chaplains, and there's a program you go through. And so we're going to be working on that going forward. to help clear that path and make that easy for people to become certified chaplains. But there's chaplaincy programs that they can go through.
And then for the offsite Bible study, Bible lessons, that's like LifeWise? That's one.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Got it.
That's
Those are
awesome.
Thank you for answering Allison's little questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, one bill that didn't pass, it was the next one on the calendar in the Senate yesterday. It was a bill I worked a lot on, and it was the Houses of Worship Protection Bill that would, what we saw happen in Minnesota with Don Lemon and that whole group. There's a federal law against that, and the DOJ has done a good job of going after those people that did that. But, we got to thinking, you have a different DOJ, they may not go after those people who would show up at a church or some kind of house of worship and disturb, come in an intentional way to do that. And so we wanted to have a law here in the state of Alabama that would clarify that as a state law as well, where our attorney general could go after. So it came up one vote short. It was the next bill on the calendar. But when the House, Sonny died and left, all of that died.
All right. So here's a question I've been asking. We ask in interviews of our legislators, but why you mentioned several of these that took years to get passed. Why do these issues take so long? What's your opinion on that?
Well, it is frustrating. And, these type bills are not the only ones that take years to get passed. Now, you do see some bills, they pop up one week, they're in committee, they boom, 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 and they're done in a week. And it is frustrating to see that happen. Those tend to be big ticket items. There's a lot of money involved. So I'm not in those caucus meetings. I don't know how those decisions are made. But certainly, all of these bills I mentioned to you, the votes have been there for them the whole time. And look, one year, one of these bills might pass the House, and then it doesn't pass the Senate. Then it would pass the Senate, not pass the House. Like the House of Worship bill. It passed the House, but it didn't pass the Senate this year. So, I don't know. All I can say is that, Senator Gudger, since he became the pro tem, we've gotten a lot more of our bills passed in the Senate. I can tell you that. I got left with 4 or 5 hanging on the last day one year. And, many of those were some of these same ones that I mentioned. So, in the House, Speaker Ledbetter, he has typically passed a lot of these bills. It's been the Senate where we had a problem getting them through. And we're not the only ones, because the Senate moves slower than the House. The House can pass more bills than the Senate. They move quicker. The way the rules are. Now, some people would say the rules need to change, but they're not. It's not. So the way it is set up, the House passes more bills than the Senate. So it just comes down to priority. Which one do they want to put on the calendar? Which one do they want to put at the top of the calendar? That's what it comes down to.
Because they know I couldn't even watch yesterday, because I know how the last day of session goes, and the past 5 years, it's like, you're like, my bill made it.
Yeah.
Oh, but we had to sine die, we can't get anything done with the House or when the Senate. And it seems like a game, and it seems like we're all being played sometimes. Again, I'm with you. I don't know what happens in the back rooms. I don't know what the rationale is. So maybe it's all legit, but I couldn't even watch yesterday because I knew this would happen. One of the biggest bills, and probably not one you were working on, was the closed primary bill.
Yeah.
But that one was on the calendar as well, and just died along.
It kind of kept getting pushed down. They adopted different calendars during the day. They took a long break during the middle of the day. And, what was happening is that the House had passed it. The Senate was contemplating it. There was, I believe, a substitute that was being offered, which basically is just like a new bill in the Senate. I know Representative Yarborough. I saw him. I talked to him during the day. He was working hard. I'll tell you, that guy was hustling, and I think he felt good about it. And I think he was okay with it, with the substitute. And if it passed the Senate, it would have to go back to the House because of the changes that were made. And I think he felt good about it. It was there. if they would have stayed longer, they could have done it. I mean, but for whatever reason, the House sine died and left, and at that point, it couldn't pass. So you can blame. On one hand, you could blame the House for leaving early. On the other hand, you could blame the Senate for not passing as it is or passing it earlier in the day.
Right.
I don't know what kind of political maneuvering was going on in the back. I think some of the other reasoning on this was that they could do this next year. This was not going to affect the primaries May 19th, and that they could do this next year, and you could still set it up for future primaries, down the road in future elections. So I don't know if the urgency for this was because of the push from the Republican Party. I don't know that the legislators felt an urgency for it other than that, because I feel like they felt like there's more time to work on it, hone it in, and still get it into effect for future elections.
What are you seeing for next session? I always kind of take a deep breath and go, okay, we made it through. And then I forget to get back in gear, because they basically start planning for next session now. And then we're always way behind. So what are you going to be working on next session? What should we be paying attention to? Did you hear anything in the halls about this? Is definitely, of course, gambling's always out there.
Well, that's the big thing, that will dominate, will be gambling. And of course, we stand opposed to the legalization and expansion of predatory gambling in the state of Alabama. And, by that, I mean, when the state government partners with corporate gambling interests to fleece its own people, then that's predatory. And so, we stand opposed to that. But, the bills that didn't pass this year, they'll get refiled next year. The primary bill, it'll be there. There's no doubt about it. But gambling is certainly going to dominate. There's no doubt about it. The big question is who's going to be in the legislature, because May 19th matters on all of these issues. Who you vote in, and then the general election in a few instances, the general election matters as well. But mostly, it's going to be set, May the 19th, and by then you're going to kind of know who the players are and know where the votes are. When it comes to gambling, the House passed gambling pretty easily in 24. The Senate fell one vote short. And so, since that time, you've had a couple of changes, and then you're going to have to look at it after May 19th and say, who are these senators and where do they stand on this issue? So gambling's going to dominate the conversation. There's no doubt about it. It always does. It sucks all air out of the room. And that's one of the reasons the legislators, a lot of them don't like it, is because it just totally dominates everything down there. And it splits people, divides people, and causes all kinds of contention.
Well, this session was supposed to be boring. It was anything but.
It definitely was
now
not.
We're going to throw gambling in next session. So everybody get your rest, take a nap,
get ready,
relax in the Masters weekend, and then we'll jump back in.
Yeah.
Greg Davis, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody tune into Priority Talk Radio today from 3 to 5. I'm sure you can get a lot more insight.
Yeah, and thank y'all. Y'all are doing a fantastic job, and I enjoy following you and seeing you, and wish I saw you in person more often, but always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
You're a good friend, and we appreciate all you do, because look, not missing a day in 4 years at the State House.
Incredible. You should be given an award.
Oh,
it's my job.
And they don't even have a cafeteria there. I don't know.
There is a sign, but there is no cafeteria.
See, he knows. He knows.
He knows.
Oh, I know.
Walked those halls before and can't find it either.
Yeah.
Greg, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Likewise. Thank y'all.
All right. So real quick before we go, some of y'all are hearing us say this word, sine die.
Thank you.
Okay. And I know you're like, what the crap? Are
That's
y'all
not
like
good.
cussing at each other? What are you saying? It's a Latin phrase meaning without day or without a set day to reconvene. And it's what our legislators say at the end when they gavel out. That's what they say, sine die. And they're done. There's no more convening. There's no more gathering. So at your next family gathering, if you don't have another family gathering on the table and, Graham hasn't said, okay, meet here next Sunday, just sine die. You can say that.
Well, I had heard that before. I never knew the meaning. But I got to be honest. Yesterday when I saw the clip from the House where they were like, sine die, it made me so mad. I was
Why?
because it's just like the way to go, guys, round of applause. And it's like, you jokers could, I mean, I don't know. It's probably just me being absolutist, but it's like, there's stuff y'all could have. Why? I don't know.
They can only work for 30 days, though. That's it. So they had to. Now, I did want to explain the reason when the House leaves, the Senate has to stop on their calendars, because if they pass different versions of the bill, it has to go back to conference committee with the House, and they have to agree upon a bill. So if the House is gone, the Senate's out of business. It's a whole thing. All right, we'll be back with more news on the other side.
Upset about, to be offended by, or to draw a line in the sand. This makes you on this side and me on this side, when we've missed the point. We need to go a little bit deeper than a soundbite, in my opinion.
But okay, so how did we get here? Before we move on with, how we handle this, but how did we get here? Is this a social media thing? Is it? Yes, you're nodding.
Well, social media is definitely on the tail end of it, but it's been there before. It really, in my opinion, sociologically, you can go back to when we stopped asking for the third question and teaching critical thinking to our children. I can completely disagree with someone and respect their opinion, hold space for them to share it,
right?
Because I could learn from the other side. There are things I could learn. I mean, I was brought up in a very small bubble. I was born on a military base, lived overseas during Vietnam in a military base in Germany, and watched the way they did it. Troops would come back from Vietnam and they would come to Germany and get safe and healed a little bit more before they'd transport them back to Walter Reed in Maryland. And so that's what my first 6 years of life was seeing what that looked like. It's a very narrow point of view. I thought military, it was like God, country, family is the way I was raised. And that's just not it. So when I came back, it was a very different world. And so that's what we've got to recognize is people only know how to live from their experience. If they are not taught to think critically and they're not taught to respect everyone's opinions, and not just that the opinion is valid, their opinion can be valid and wrong.
That's good.
Truth does not bend. Truth is a fact. Truth is from God. And if that's not your starting point, you've got to come up with what your true north is, your compass. But if truth doesn't align with my personal opinion, I've got to do business with the Lord to figure out why it doesn't. And what have I set up that I think this is more important? The kindness. Like if kindness is your idol, it has to be done in a certain way. Like my 15-year-old will tell me, well, if you'd have said it nicely. I'm like, child, nice was the first 62,000 times I've said it to you. You are no longer getting nice. And she's like, but you lose the argument, Mom, when you raise your voice. And I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be horrible for me. I'm Italian. I'm like, But that's what we've got to do is we've got to learn how to hold our space without getting angry, without elevating, because for me, volume doesn't mean I'm angry. Volume just means I'm passionate. But this generation doesn't understand anger and passion. That's why we've got a lot of discord around people getting involved in things they should not be involved in, getting in the way of ICE. And like I have that conversation almost on a daily basis with my 26 to 15-year-old children. How important it is for them to understand they're not protecting these people. They're getting in the way of law and order. And it's a hard concept for them because the social-minded, emotional generation that they're in thinks we have to protect these people. And I'm like, who are you protecting? And we have to have those conversations. Yeah.
So do you think then on and still staying with the how and the why, do you think that we're here because of all the concentration of social emotional learning in school without those concrete logical things that we learned? We learned how to think logically. We learned how to think critically, and then it just kind of evaporated. Because it seems to me that from all of the emphasis on social emotional learning, we also have then that spike in 20%? I had the 20-ish% of 18 to or Gen Zs have increased and think they're identifying as LGBTQ. I mean, like these things that they're agreeing to or saying they believe in don't make any sense unless they were schooled and trained in all of the SEL techniques. Is that part of it?
It is definitely part of it. I think there's, it's not a silo. Nothing is happening, independent of the other. So you take that, you take this push towards tolerance, acceptance, and I don't mean that either one of those are wrong in theory, because they're not wrong in theory. But what it introduced, it's kind of like the law of unintended consequences. I wanted to do this, but it also did this. And so that unintended consequence was we muddied a lot of waters. And as we started teaching it younger and younger and younger, these children don't have the structure and the framework in their brain yet to feel safe when we discuss these topics. So that's why we've got so much anxiety in these kids, is because they're handling topics that we as adults struggle to deal with, but we're giving it to them younger and younger and younger. And like my 15-year-old said the other day, well, is he heterosexual because that's all he's ever tried? Or did he try the other and decide he's heterosexual? And I was like, why would you have to try something to decide that is not who you are? And she was like, well, it's an option now. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
It's always been an option. My response to her, it's always been an option. Going outside of what God has made has always been an option. But it's, where do you draw your line of, I don't need to try that.
And welcome back. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, guys.
Yeah.
I'm Amy Beth. She's Allison. He's JP. We are the Right Side, and we are finishing up a Friday. We do have Clown World. We do have news to finish, and we will just put an exclamation point on the day with a couple of would you rathers. So 30 minutes, we're doing a lot. So prepare.
Real quick, can I ask one last wrap up question about session? Because this is I think questions a lot of people have about the calendar and such. When does next session officially begin? And I saw that this was actually the last session in this state house. So that has to mean the next session won't be until.
Yeah, it's usually January or February. It's weird. Like the start of a quadrennium is different, and I'll have to look it up.
Wait, let's define terms. What does quadrennium mean?
Oh, a quadrennium is their 4-year that our legislature is elected to 4-year terms, both Senate and House, and they're all in the same election cycle. So every 4 years, it's a new turnover in theory. Sometimes it's not, but usually it is. And with this election cycle, it's kind of wild because Governor Ivey's term limited out, Steve Marshall's term limited out, Will Ainsworth's term limited out. We're going to have a whole turnover.
Clean slate.
Executive, what do they call them? Constitutional officers. And maybe there'll be some turnover in the legislature as well, but they will be in the new state house. But I'll look up and see what day it
So
actually
it kind of
starts.
rolls. So sometimes it's January, JP, then the next time it's February, and they finish. Obviously, if they start in January, they're finished on a different date, but they have 30 days, but that's usually 3 days out of the week. And then if they have a big issue, they'll call a special session, they'll go back down, they'll do the things, and then they're done. But it's, I realize that a quadrennium, you're like, what is that word? 4 years. We need to we need to throw that word around. You guys this weekend, try to throw around the word quadrennium. Like our children's quadrennium in college.
But oh crap, I was going to say something else. Maybe I have dementia too.
You don't have dementia.
I don't think Trump has dementia either.
Oh no.
My mom had dementia. He doesn't really.
There are signs when you have dementia. That man has recall that's scary. That's one of those things. You can say a lot of things about Trump. Don't you dare throw around diagnosis. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't care whatever else you had to say, Alex Jones. I'm out when you start throwing that around. You sound like us. We saw what dementia looks like with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree either. I think it was just indicative of like where we're at now.
Yeah,
Where Alex
it's-
Jones is saying
The
yeah.
wheels have come off the bus for those people. Not for us, though. We're just getting started.
Were the wheels ever on with us? I think we're just kind of riding without wheels. I think we do what we want.
We're Barney rubbling it. We're just no shoes. We're just carrying that car.
I think we lifted off like we're a jet that lifted off with wheels, and then the wheels fell off in the air. So now we're just kind of flying.
We're
and
flying.
We're doing what we want.
JP, I have to ask a question though. Do you know who Barney Rubble is? Allison, he does not know who
Yes,
Barney
he
Rubble
does.
is. JP, come on. The Flintstones, meet the
Oh, okay.
Flintstones.
Yeah. I've seen him. I didn't know it was his name.
That's Barney Rubble.
I didn't watch
No
Flintstones.
shoes. All right. So, news. Before we get to Clown World, news. I am all for, I know that Melania Trump surprised the world. I know that the press didn't have any heads up that this was going to happen. But the thing we have talked about in this whole Epstein debacle is that the victims have not gotten their due. And that is the thing I appreciate the most about what she said is enter their names and their testimony into the congressional record so that that record will be the thing that condemns our leaders for failing to follow through with any sort of prosecution. And they won't because they're friends of the ones that are in the Epstein files. But that's what I appreciated the most. What did you guys think?
I have so many questions because if you the way the whole thing went down, apparently Trump didn't even really know it was coming. The press gaggle didn't know it was coming. And nobody knew it was about. Nobody really knows what it's in response to. Really, did y'all know that it had been stirred up in the media? I mean, she talked about Harper's Collins Bazaar in the UK and a few other outlets, but everybody was really perplexed. And you showed it in that clip. They're like, I'm not sure what this was. So I have questions. Is she getting ahead of a story that's about to come out? That's what you do when you want to control a narrative. You get out ahead of it.
Well, go ahead.
And then this is crazy. One of the survivors' mother, okay, her name is, have y'all heard the name Amanda Ungaro?
Yes.
Okay. This is what she tags Melania in these. This is on April 8th. So what was yesterday?
9th.
April 8th was Wednesday.
If these are real, but this is floating around on the Twix. All right, so this is April 8th. I have nothing left to lose in my life. I will tear down the entire system. Be careful with me. B word. And this is tagging FLOTUS. I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do in my life. I will go all the way. I'm not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know, who you are, and who your husband is. And then she calls out Pam Bondi too. I don't know if any of that is real. She could be making the whole thing up. We know people make things up and draw lines and connections that are not accurate. But it is kind of weird in the timing. This came out a day before Melania makes her announcement. So is somebody threatening or blackmailing her that she had to come out and do this, and not even the closest inner circle people know it?
All I heard was she said, I want the lies and the smears to stop. That's all I heard her say. So I haven't seen anything about it. It feels like A, she's reached her breaking point, but B, perhaps she is getting ahead of something that is brewing and we don't know what that is.
I think I didn't watch the entire thing, but I think she specifically called out James Carville because he had been running around saying that he knew that Trump met Melania through Epstein. And I think she was mainly trying to refute claims like that. But my main takeaway from the whole speech is her calling upon Congress to act and that saying Epstein didn't act alone, and that there has been billionaires that have resigned from this whole thing. That's a bombshell in my opinion, because the whole time from the White House and Trump himself has been, this is a Democrat hoax. We need to move on. There's nothing else to see. Everybody just needs to, like, it's done. The Epstein files are done, and Congress, been complete deflection of it all. And the first lady came out and said, no, Congress needs to act. There's other people that acted alongside him that aren't being held accountable, and Congress is not doing their job. They need to act. I think she actually called for a specific commission to handle this sort of thing. That if Trump himself didn't know about it, which I don't know if that's necessarily, he may have, I don't know, but regardless, that is a complete 180 from what the messaging on the Epstein files has been from the White House and from the administration as a whole. The whole messaging has been, we did our job, nothing to see. Les Wexner, who is that? No, the redactions, I don't know what you're talking about. We're supposed to move on. It's done. No, she said there's been others that acted alongside him that aren't being held accountable, and Congress needs to do their freaking job. That part was the biggest, whoa, and it did come out of nowhere. So I don't know why or the reasoning, but that is a complete split from the messaging of the White House so far.
Which is maybe why she had to keep it so quiet, because she wanted to come out and say it. It is ironic too that Todd Blanche, our acting Attorney General now, is the one that was like, well, I mean, it's not a crime to party with Epstein. That's actually what Melania said. I mean, and think about that. It kills me because it happens in Alabama politics too. It's like you go to a party. I don't know. You're just invited. Your friend is throwing the party. And especially I think about like Katie Britt or Tommy Tuberville or these elected officials. Everybody wants to come up and take a picture with you. You can't interview and know the bio of everybody that takes a picture with you. So you stand there, you end up in the same place, and somebody, Senator Tuberville, can I take a picture? Wait, what are you going to say? No? Well, then they bash you for that. So you take a picture. Well, now all of a sudden you're in the global cabal because you have a picture with someone and you didn't even know who they were. I don't know how you handle situations like that, but that's basically what Melania said. The party scene in New York and Palm Beach is really small, and so you'll end up in a lot of these places. The congressional part is interesting because it is a break, but then there's some of the messaging does match. I don't know. I'm confused, but she just opened that can of worms that's been sitting on the shelf for a while and threw it all over everybody. You think anything gets done?
I don't think there will be any sort of congressional hearing. I don't think anything gets done, but I very much appreciate, because again, when it comes to Iran, when it comes to these women, that's what's getting messed up, is the victims in the whole situation never, ever get their due. So for their sake, I hope so, but I am not hopeful that it will.
Yeah. I don't know. I have mixed thoughts on, because Melania is her own titan herself. Like she is her own figure. I mean, there was a whole movie just made about her. So I think she's a lot more of a force than first ladies typically are. So in my head, I would think surely Trump had to have known the speech was coming. But then you think, I don't know, that I didn't watch the Melania movie, but from what I've seen, they kind of operate in their own, like they're almost separate entities. Like
we would agree, because we watched it on the same night.
Like
it is weird.
They're kind of their own separate entities and doing their own thing. And obviously they're married, but I don't think a lot of their daily lives merge that much. She could have just, no, I'm just going to do this. Trump can see it on his own. I don't know. I don't know if that was the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. But if you're Trump and finally the Epstein situation is not being talked about anymore, and then your wife goes and does that, and now all of a sudden people are talking about it again, it is bizarre. Because I mean, we're talking about the war in Iran, we're talking about everything else. The Epstein files have gone away for the most part in the news cycle, and this just kind of reopened those can of worms. I'm very curious on Trump's thoughts on it, and if he knew beforehand, because like I said, it's very, very possible he didn't.
I just, fair warning for young husbands out there. This is what happens when your wife has had enough. And there is no stopping because you've had this conversation 100 times and your wife is like, I don't think you understand. I'm done. And so the husband goes, all right, handle it. That's what this was.
That's a good take. I think that could be, yeah.
So I think he knew what was going to happen because he loves her and she loves him. That was apparent from the documentary. And I think he said, all right, fine, because he's been trashed. So that is one thing that unites them quite visibly. This was just a wife that had had enough.
Yeah.
You go, girl.
It's going to be interesting to watch because they all come back. They'll all be back in DC next week. So things could happen.
So that may be another part of the timing. Maybe this is urging them to do some sort of commission or get the other.
I hope so.
We'll see.
They clearly aren't doing anything else. Why not?
Having dog parades.
So true.
They're busy with that.
So true.
Which, by the way, is kind of a perfect segue to Clown World. Because many of them,
forgot
we
about
feel like
Clown
they
World.
are clowns. But
so
for the
exciting.
good ones, we appreciate you. Tim Burchett, Anna Paulina Luna.
Oh my gosh. I almost sent y'all. Have y'all seen? I think I've seen it before, but something struck me so funny. He does. Oh, what does he call it? Tim Talk with Tim?
Time with Tim. Or something
Time
like
with Tim.
Talk
Yeah,
with Tim. Something like that.
Talk Time with Tim.
Yeah.
And so he sat down and it popped up this morning. He did Talk Time with Tim. He says, this is Talk Time with Tim. And I'm Tim. And then he goes on and tells this whole story about Orange Bad Cat. And it's his cat, this cat that's in his lap. It is the most bizarre but most funny thing. And I don't know why I had to tell that story, except Tim Burchett is hysterical. And I do have hope that when he comes back, he will do something with Doge. That's where I was going.
Yeah.
Speaking of fraud and Doge and what they're going to do, because he seems really fired up about his Doge subcommittee.
Well, I will say I did see one Time with Tim or whatever where he was in his barn and he was making one of his skateboards. And he was like and he just goes, hey, y'all, Tim Burchett here. In the middle of it, he's like working on it. They're funny. We played a clip yesterday of him at the gas station, and he was talking about how the oil companies
I saw
are
that
ripping
one.
us off. But the part that I found so funny was that, like, as he's talking, you can hear this car pulling up at the pump next to him, just blasting rap music, and he's just like, these oil companies are having to, and he's like having to speak louder and louder. He's like, they're freaking ripping us off. And he's like having to talk over this. But the funny part is a representative of Congress is a person just like us, and people pull up next to him at pumps and blast rat. Like they're just people like we are.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's great.
He's just a guy.
He's a dude.
Just a dude.
He's a dude.
Why is he filling up his pump with gas if he just or his car with gas? He just skateboard everywhere. That's the real question.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, anyway, okay. Clown World.
Clown World. For the rest of them that are clowns.
Deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+. This is abhorrent.
The word is Meathwig 2 Slug Buck QE+. Can you give me the country of origin, please? Yes, of course. The country of origin is none other than Canada. MIWG2SLGBTQIA+. That is correct. You are this year's National Spelling Bee champion.
We've got to reconcile our differences. So we need a Secretary of Reconciliation, just as we have a Secretary of Education, a Secretary of Labor. We need a Secretary of Reconciliation who would report directly to a president, not this president. That would include reparations. Reparations for the 240 years of free labor that people still benefit today from.
What I've come to realize over the last year is that for many of the folks that you see taking up oxygen on the other side of the aisle in particular, it's not in pursuit of a rational goal. It's actually an addiction. They find themselves going viral. And as is the case with many addictions, they will debase themselves and inflict collateral damage on anyone else in pursuit of that next high.
I don't know how many trans teachers there are, but I'm one. And I'm pretty visibly trans. Hey, students know I'm trans. Parents know I'm trans.
Okay. What? What in the world? JP. That's fantastic.
Okay. The congresswoman that's trans, congressman that's trans.
Yes.
I don't know how.
What's his name?
His name is Tim, but he likes to go by Sarah McBride.
Tim actually kind of pulls it off.
Does he?
Yeah, I feel like if I passed Tim,
you would know.
I don't know. I've always thought it's pretty obvious.
Like guy after him doesn't do it well, but he actually might pull it off. Still weird and wrong.
He's got
But-
too much of a jaw.
You think?
Yes.
In that voice, not quite right.
Yeah. The funniest part of that clip though is he's claiming that everybody who talks about him being trans, they're just looking for attention. What are you doing? What is you being a girl? What
The
exactly
next
is that?
high, the next addiction. Hello, pot. Meet kettle.
Yeah. It's like everybody who like, why can a guy not just dress up in Congress and not get any eyeballs on him? Like, what is going on? Everybody else is just looking for attention. Can a guy not just put lipstick on in the women's restroom in Congress? Like, what's the deal? That's exactly, it's hypocritical.
It's funny. I don't think what he's saying is wrong though. We do have a lot of Republicans on the right side of the aisle that are addicted to being some influencer, some social media meme. Oh yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah.
So what was the word? Do we need to replay the beginning to find out
what's the word?
was?
How did that person, female?
Yeah.
She had great bangs.
She had bangs for
She
sure.
had great bangs, glossy black hair, but completely a head full of mush. How did she get those letters out with a straight face?
Side of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+.
But do you know what it stands for? I had it.
Oh, please tell us.
I had it. I'm gonna have to go back.
I
Give me a
genuinely
minute.
don't know.
It's like mischaracterized women. Did I send? Is it in what I sent you, JP? Somebody said, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" Check the back of the router.
That's good.
Let's see. Canada is not being called the gay.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, here it is.
Okay.
You'll never guess.
I know it has to do with missing Indigenous women.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the whole point. It's missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, and asexual plus.
Plus, as if you didn't get them all in that. Then there's the plus.
Missing and murdered. Let me read this again. Missing and murdered Indigenous women. That's just a weird one to add. If you're missing and murdered and white, you don't matter.
No.
And actually, that kind of says black too. Gosh, we're really pushing everybody out. Girls and two-spirit. Well, wait. How do we
spirit lesbians?
Two-spirit. I don't know, but how do we know what women and girls are all of a sudden?
Yeah, exactly.
Girls and two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, and asexual. And don't forget the plus.
And plus, in case we forgot any.
Guys, can you imagine if we were as serious and purposeful as they are with lies and we would be with the truth? Like, you're not going to mess with that lady with the great bangs.
What does two-spirit
Well, that's
mean?
you, Abs.
It's us.
Yeah.
It's our team, but it's our tribe, actually. But can you imagine if we had a country filled with that? Like, yeah, y'all are absolutely not.
Okay. Do y'all know what two-spirit means?
No, I do not know what that means.
I
Is this
used to.
witchcraft?
Ooh,
What?
remind me to tell you who I saw last night.
A witch?
Do y'all remember the teacher at Hoover that this was years ago that put out the witchcraft, the whole thing about Wiccan? The English teacher,
Yes.
that gave the assignment on all about how great
Yes.
witchcraft.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw him last night
Oh boy.
in
How's
Hoover.
he doing?
Where at?
in Hoover.
Are you going to tell me
Anyway,
where you were in
I
Hoover?
forgot. Well, I mean,
Were you at dinner?
because I don't dox people.
Okay. All right.
But I did pass him.
Okay.
He's still in Hoover.
Okay, cute.
Two-spirit is a term used by some indigenous, Native American, and First Nations cultures to describe a person who embodies both masculine and feminine spiritual qualities. Key points to understand it clearly. It's cultural. It's not just an identity. Two-spirit isn't simply another word for LGBTQ+. It's a cultural and spiritual identity rooted in indigenous traditions. I don't know.
So what if I want to be 3-spirited or 4-spirited?
Yeah,
You know
I
what?
think you can.
Infinite spirited.
You know what my two spirits are? Hard pass. That's what mine is. Or ooh, try me. Those are
My
mine.
3 spirits are Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
That's
Oh.
good. It's good. Gosh. Of course. Hit us with
My
something.
name's JP. You're a tard. Is that 3? Yeah.
That is 3.
Yeah.
You are a right tard.
Right.
Hey.
Hey, right tard. Did he just say right? JP,
You had
I
to
think
be
it
the-
was right star.
It was right star.
She like
Did he just say right tard?
she like said it over her shoulder. Was like,
In my mom voice, and he was like, "What?"
it's like, Mom. Mom. Did he just say?
It could have been verbally. He was doing this,
Yeah.
and you know, as a mom, and you're like, "Stop it!"
Honey,
But it
no.
wasn't, because it was hard not to laugh when you asked the question.
They couldn't wait. They could not wait.
Mom.
Mommy,
Mom.
I think he said a bad
Mom.
word.
Did he just say?
Did he say?
At least I didn't say. Did you just say right tards?
He would have laughed.
He would have.
The bad man said right tards.
He heard the wrong word. It was very funny. We will use it
Stars.
forever.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. I don't know. This clock is off. I think it's time to go. But what are y'all doing this
Oh.
weekend? Anything?
Going to Auburn for Parents Weekend with Marley's sorority.
Yes. War eagle, fly down the field. Never to conquer, never to you. Eagle, fearless and true. Fight on, you orange and blue. Hey, hey, hey! On victory, strike up.
That's our version of sports.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
an Auburn fan.
I don't know. I had a busy weekend in Huntsville last weekend, so I don't know.
Chill.
Watch the Masters. Probably hang with some fam down here. Chill. I need a
Fam jam.
You need a.
I need a little bit of a reset, but we'll see.
What about you?
We're going to a Barons game tonight.
That'll be fun.
I'm excited. I haven't been to a base, and we're actually going to go back to Tuscaloosa at the end of the month to go to a Bama game.
Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Mm.
I miss I don't know if I should say why I miss baseball.
Why do you miss baseball?
Well, Jennings' ex-boyfriend.
Oh yeah.
Like I've been watching him play baseball for years, and now I kind of miss it.
I
I'll eat a hot dog for you. I do it once a year, but that's exciting. Then we're gonna have a Masters party,
That's gonna be.
and
fun.
I'm gonna make cucumber sandwiches.
You gonna send me a picture?
Yes, just for you.
You know, we should like split our picture in Allison's Masters party and our Easter.
Oh.
We should do like
No.
a picture montage.
No, that'd be
That'd be
like
cute.
Wait,
our
I'm sorry.
prison time.
I zoned out last. You said you're having a Masters party.
Yeah, you want to come to the Masters party?
If you are,
You want to come to the Masters party?
If we're back, yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
My
Okay.
answer is yes.
Okay. Well, will you eat cucumber sandwiches?
I don't know about that, but I'll be there.
Should I go to Waverly Local this weekend?
Yes, you
Okay.
should. It's
in that
so
antique
good.
store?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, we're doing it tomorrow at 10.
100%.
All right, you
Send
guys.
pictures.
On Monday,
JP
we'll
and I'll
unravel
send
all the fun
selfies.
of the weekend.
Of our Masters party. Okay.
The cucumber.
Hey,
sandwich.
we have a big announcement coming up on Monday. Are y'all tired of big announcements yet?
No, I love big announcements.
So you'll want to tune in. We have a new segment with someone that you are going to love. It's going to be awesome.
Allegedly.
No, it's happening. Don't spill that allegedly stuff on me.
Kind of like I spilled my coffee on
Yes.
Guys, we got a meeting.
Oh yeah, we got to go. We got a meeting. We will see you all Monday on the right side.